Welcome back to Terry's Diverse Horizons. Today, we're diving into the world of First Ladies. These women may not have been elected, but their presence in the White House shaped history in fascinating ways. We'll be counting down the top 10 most influential First Ladies, and of course, the top 10 less impactful First Ladies. Buckle up for wit, history, and a few surprises. Let's get started. At number 10, Eleanor Roosevelt, wife of Franklin D. Roosevelt. Eleanor Roosevelt was the powerhouse of the White House. She fought for human rights, stood tall during World War II, and basically redefined what it means to be a First Lady. She wasn't just hosting tea parties, she was reshaping the world. Loved for her courage and progressive ideas, though she ruffled feathers with her bold activism. At number 9, Jacqueline Kennedy, wife of John F. Kennedy. Jackie Kennedy was the OG-style icon of the White House. She brought high fashion, elegance, and cultural sophistication to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Oh, and she also redecorated the White House into a literal museum of American history. Casual. Praised for her poise and beauty, though some questioned her political engagement. Coming in at number 8 is Hillary Clinton, wife of William Bill Clinton. Hillary Clinton was the First Lady, who didn't just sit in the East Wing. She practically rented out space in the West Wing. From healthcare reform to her global initiatives, she turned the role into a springboard for her own political ambitions. Admired for her intelligence and boldness, though critics thought she overstepped her role. At number 7, Michelle Obama, wife of Barack Obama. Michelle Obama gave us biceps and brains. She was the queen of healthy living, launched the Let's Move initiative, and reminded us all that when they go low, we go high. If you didn't love her, you were probably sneaking junk food. Beloved for her charisma and relatability, though her school lunch reforms had some kids sneaking Cheetos. And at number 6, Lady Bird Johnson, wife of Lyndon B. Johnson. Lady Bird was a pioneer for environmentalism. She championed the Highway Beautification Act and transformed America's highways into floral wonderlands. She was all about sustainability before it was trendy. Viewed as kind-hearted and forward-thinking, though some considered her efforts too modest. At number 5, Betty Ford, wife of Gerald Ford. Betty Ford didn't just occupy the role of First Lady, she owned it. From opening up about her battles with addiction to advocating for women's rights, she made the White House a place of progress and honesty. Celebrated for her bravery and transparency, though her candor wasn't everyone's cup of tea. And number 4, Abigail Adams, wife of John Adams. Abigail Adams was the ultimate long-distance pen pal. Her letters to her husband John were basically political manifestos, and she was a staunch advocate for women's rights before it was even a concept. Respected as a brilliant thinker, though her influence was often overlooked. And at number 3, Rosalyn Carter, wife of Jimmy Carter. Rosalyn Carter was the First Lady who worked overtime. She championed mental health reform, humanitarian causes, and even sat in on cabinet meetings. This woman was busy, admired for her dedication, though some questioned her deep involvement in policy. And at number 2, Martha Washington, wife of George Washington. The very first First Lady, Martha Washington, defined what it meant to lead with grace. She hosted lavish dinners, supported the revolutionary troops, and still managed to maintain a sense of humor. Seen as the ultimate role model, though she preferred staying out of politics. And at number 1, Dolly Madison, wife of James Madison. Nobody saved more actual history than Dolly Madison. When the British burned the White House, she famously saved George Washington's portrait. She also knew how to throw a party. Just ask anyone in Washington, D.C., circa 1814. Beloved as a socialite and heroine, though some critics thought she focused too much on entertaining. Now that we've celebrated the most influential First Ladies, it's time to take a slightly different walk down memory lane. These next 10 First Ladies were less impactful, not because they didn't try, but sometimes the circumstances, the times, or their own preferences just didn't allow them to leave a significant mark. Let's get into it. Starting off at number 10, Florence Harding, wife of Warren G. Harding. Florence Harding had high hopes for her time as First Lady, but she was overshadowed by her husband's, let's call them, less than savory scandals. She focused on animal rights and veterans' causes, but her potential was sadly buried under controversy. Respected for her ambitions, but criticized for being tied to Harding's troubled presidency. At number 9, Louisa Adams, wife of John Quincy Adams. Louisa Adams was the only First Lady born outside the U.S., but instead of embracing her unique perspective, she largely stayed in the shadows. She spent more time playing her harp than making waves in Washington. Viewed as refined and cultured, but not politically or socially active. And at number 8, Jane Pierce, wife of Franklin Pierce. Jane Pierce never wanted to be First Lady, and it showed. After losing all 3 of her children, her grief defined her tenure. She spent most of her time avoiding public life altogether. Sympathized with for her tragic life, but her reclusiveness made her a distant figure. At number 7, Mary Todd Lincoln, wife of Abraham Lincoln. Mary Todd Lincoln was a woman of strong emotions and strong spending habits. While she supported her husband, her lavish tastes during the Civil War and rumored erratic behavior didn't win her many fans. Criticized for extravagance during wartime, but pitied for her tragic losses. At number 6, Caroline Harrison, wife of Benjamin Harrison. Caroline Harrison had potential, but was cut short by illness. She advocated for White House renovations and women's education, but didn't live long enough to make a lasting impact. Admired for her kindness and modest initiatives, but ultimately forgettable. And at number 5, Melania Trump, wife of Donald Trump. Melania Trump's tenure as First Lady was all about Be Best, a campaign aimed at anti-bullying, though some found it ironic given her husband's Twitter activity. Her detached public persona and low-key approach left many wondering if she even wanted the job. Mixed, praised for her fashion sense, but criticized for her reserved demeanor and lack of major initiatives. And at number 4, Pat Nixon, wife of Richard Nixon. Pat Nixon wanted to be the people's First Lady, but found herself drowning in the political scandals of her husband's administration. She focused on making the White House more accessible, but Watergate overshadowed her efforts. Seen as sympathetic, but overshadowed by her husband's controversies. At number 3, Rachel Jackson, wife of Andrew Jackson. Rachel Jackson didn't even get the chance to serve as First Lady, as she passed away before Andrew's inauguration. Her life was marked by scandal and heartbreak, leaving her an almost ghostly figure in White House history. Sympathized with for her personal struggles, but her limited role left little impact. At number 2, Anna Harrison, wife of William Henry Harrison. Anna Harrison didn't even move into the White House. Her husband died just 31 days into his presidency, making her tenure non-existent. Talk about an anticlimax. Not much to perceive. She's remembered mostly for her absence. And finally, number 1, Harriet Lane, niece of James Buchanan. Technically not a First Lady, Harriet Lane stepped in as hostess for her bachelor uncle, James Buchanan. While she brought grace to the role, her impact was mostly in hosting parties. The real question is, did she inspire the bachelor? Seen as charming, but more of a placeholder than a true First Lady. There you have it, 10 iconic First Ladies who shaped history, and 10 who made quieter marks. Every First Lady brings something unique to the White House, but not everyone can be a trailblazer. Let me know in the comments, who's your favorite First Lady and why? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and join me next time on Terry's Diverse Horizons. Until then, keep exploring history, one horizon at a time.